First of all, I'd like to say congratulations to Clemson and Coach Dabo Sweeney. That was a fantastic effort by their guys. And obviously, we saw a different football team than people have been seeing recently, but those guys are extremely talented. And they were highly motivated, and there's no doubt they played an exceptional game against us. Questions?
We're going to start right in front with Emily and then just keep it in the same row with Chris next.
Garrett took a pretty big hit there in the very first drive of the game. First off, I'm just curious, did he get evaluated for like a concussion or anything when he came off? Because it was in the head region.
Yes, he did.
He did get evaluated. And then what did the refs tell you about why they reversed the targeting call there? Because it was initially ruled targeting, I believe.
They did not explain that in great detail to me.
Did you feel like it should have been the way it was called originally?
I'm not allowed to say stuff like that, but I would have been in favor of them keeping it the way it was called and giving us the ball.
Chris?
Dino, what do you think Brady's range is to be, to have a good chance of making a field goal in the Dome?
What do I think,
Yeah.
or what is it?
What is it?
I've seen him hit over 61 yards. Have you seen his kickoffs?
They're great.
Do you see where they land?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he will have the school record before he leaves. The school record is 54 yards in Pitt Stadium. He will have that record before he leaves, if not his sophomore year, then his junior year or his senior year.
Do you think 57, though, is a low percentage kick for him? Just because he can do it doesn't mean he, right? There's a
You
number.
can't break a record unless you take a low percentage kick. If not, then the record is always the old record. Giving Andre Smith an opportunity to break the record in Pitt Stadium was a low percentage. But, of course, if you go through life worrying about that, then you're never going to be great, are you?
No. But why did you think that was the right place for a low percentage then kick?
Because he could make it.
Okay.
We'll go right here to Michael and then Henry after that.
Coach, not disputing the decision to go for the kick, it just seemed like it was a bit rushed. There was only 2 or 3 seconds left on the play clock. Was there any miscommunication with the offense getting off the field in that moment?
I looked up and I thought I saw 7 seconds. And then based off of 7 seconds with what was going on, he had time to get the kick off. Yeah.
Henry?
Coach, what went into Dan Villari getting much more time in the offense and becoming much more like a key contributor today?
I just thought we had some plays in that was going to work well against their defense. Dan has been doing extremely well in practice. We wish we could have had him in spring ball or earlier in the fall. He's been out with an injury for a long time. So we have to make sure, A, that his injury is not going to come back that he had, and B, whether he could catch up not only cardiovascular-wise but mentally with what was going on with the offense.
We're going back to Mario.
Hi, Coach Babers. Clemson was able to force a lot of pressure with their fronts. Was it scheme-wise or what was it?
Their guys were really, really good. And they were going against our guys, and our guys were getting tired, and they were rolling those guys through. We did play more offensive linemen to try to keep things more balanced, but they're exceptional, especially at that position.
WAR back.
Coach, what did you see from your receivers in terms of getting separation?
Not much. Separation.
We'll go back up here to Emily.
Speaking of the offensive line, Kalen Ellis played for the first time today. Like, how much practice had he had coming into this week? He didn't come in until late in the game, I know, so.
Came in the third series.
Oh, he did? Okay, I missed that earlier then. Is he back to full health yet, or still kind of not quite there?
We have to see what this game did to him and see how he responds in rehab.
Stay with Chris.
Dino, it seemed like you guys took a lot of deep sideline shots in the first half. Did you like those shots, or was that something they forced you into with something they did?
Not a force. We thought we could run by him. We thought we had an opportunity to make some plays down the field, just like their guys made some plays down the field on our guys. Unfortunately, we were out of bounds a lot of times on our throws, and we weren't in play, giving our guys a chance to make a play. And when I say that, that's not necessarily the quarterback. That can be the routes. It could be not having enough time from the offensive line. It takes a lot of things to go right to be able to throw the ball efficiently.
We'll go Dan and then Steve Fontaine back.
Coach, just what you can take away right here in front of you. Just what you could take away from the play calling offensively, some of the trick plays with Villari and sometimes taking shots down the field, sometimes not in the
I
second
thought
half.
all the trick plays had a chance to work. We dropped one, and then the other one we got a pass interference on. I thought they were well timed, and I thought for the most part they were somewhat real extremely well executed. I thought the play calls were good. You guys are missing a lot of stuff that's going on. There's I think that based off of what we've done offensively so far, that this offense is going to have an opportunity to be exceptional. We just have to make plays. There's certain plays that you have to make to keep the momentum of a game going. We weren't making those plays today. We didn't make them on offense, and we didn't make them on defense, except for the one fumble recovery that we had.
We'll go to Steven back, and then we'll come right here.
Coach, it seems like the last few times you've played these guys, that there's been a lot of coulda, shoulda, woulda. Like you're right there, but a turnover, a drop, a penalty. You know, that's kind of my feeling watching these guys. That the gap isn't huge, right? There's just some mistakes that you guys have been making. Do you feel the same way? Do you feel like you can match up and go toe to toe with these guys? And could you speak to the mistakes a little bit? Is it nerves? Is it being overhyped, especially early in the game?
We did not handle the. I thought that some of the younger guys got nervous. They didn't handle the stage, and you don't expect that to happen. You expect them to be able to overcome it. They'll do better next time. And then there's a lot of guys that were playing Clemson for the very first time, and I think there's no doubt this team is extremely young, and next time out I think they'll do a lot better with all that stuff. I really do. Your question on the penalties again?
It just seems like there's some mistakes here. It's a penalty here, it's a drop here, it's a turnover here. Do you feel like the gap is closing with Syracuse in the top of the conference?
I think that some of those penalties really shaped the game. But penalties are all part of the game. And we understand that and they understand you're not going to get every call. You have to learn to deal with that. That's just part of the momentum and the adversity that goes along with the game. Penalties will never be used as an excuse whether you win or lose football games.
One thing I did like from your receivers was that on both of your touchdown drives, you used them in motion, and their crossing routes kind of help free up the tight end and the running back from the linebackers. Is that something that's been a staple of this offense, or how important was that today to use those crossing routes to get your guys free?
Yeah, there was over half the snaps was man-to-man. When you're playing man-to-man, you either need to have a guy that can separate without help, or you need guys to run crossing routes to help each other to separate. So you normally have both of those schemes in when you're going to play a team with as much man as they play tonight. And that's exactly the same scheme that you play if you're going to play our defense, who plays a lot of man, that you should be doing on us as well.
Wyatt, and then Michael.
Coach, after those two early fumbles, did that change the offensive game plan at all? And what was your kind of reaction to those?
No, it didn't change the game plan at all. We needed to play it normal. We still had a lot of football to play. And if we took our time and scored, we could close that gap. Really thought that we would do that as well. And then with the turnovers, that's part of football. I think I remember a play in the Dome this year where Garrett broke out, scrambled, and got a ball off at the very last minute. Two guys hit him, and I want to say Isaiah Jones caught a ball for a touchdown with nobody around him. Well, that's no different than the guy that caught him and knocked his helmet off. I mean, he was scrambling around. He was about to do something, and then bang, that guy got him from behind, and his helmet gets snapped off. So that's the part of playing a team like that, when you're playing guys that are more athletic, more faster. Those same plays that barely happen on some other teams that were positives could end up being negatives against teams that are more athletic and faster.
Michael, then Griffin.
Coach, we saw Jaden Bellamy come in for Jeremiah Wilson at corner later in the game. Was there any specific moment that led you to make that change, or was it more of just a flow of the game type of decision?
I really believe it was just the flow of the game.
Coach, that's now the second straight year that Clemson has had 5 sacks against you guys. What did you see from their front seven?
Athletic guys that have an opportunity to play in the National Football League that are really, really big, with big biceps and triceps that move around really, really quickly.
We're going to stay in that row right in the end.
Yeah, Coach, after, last year's game where Clemson really was able to, wear you guys down with a run, what do you think of the run defense today?
Let me check the numbers here. Okay. I haven't had an opportunity to really look at this. Clemson was at 35 rushes, 126 yards. I thought we were much improved this year than what we were last year versus the run.
Go right here to Y and then back and forth to Roman. Oh, sorry, not Y. Henry.
Coach, just back on Villari again, do you expect to see him in as a bigger part of the offense as the season goes along?
Well, hopefully. I mean, I thought he made some plays and he did some things. I mean, he looked good, right? What'd you think? Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I'd like to see that. So I'd like to see more of that. So we have to see how it goes. He did get an owie in the game, so we got to see what happens.
What was the owie?
I can't tell you the owie.
We'll go back to WAR and then Mario and back.
Coach, I know you're not going to tell me what's wrong with Trevor, but is it a re-aggravation? Is it something new? What happened with him?
It's same injury, re-aggravated.
Mario and then Citrus.
You talk about building block games, always wanting to get better. Do you see this as a building block game for your program?
You know, the biggest thing, what we got here is we played a team whose athletes are the top of the conference. And we spotted them, two turnovers that turned into touchdowns, and then later on another turnover that turned into a touchdown. But, you know, we can talk about that one if you want to. And outside of that, we played them even for a while. Now, they won the game, and they deserved to win the game. We need to go back, regroup, watch the tape based off of how athletic they were and the things that we did on offense and defense that we thought were good and bad, and then go back out there and do it again. And the next time we go against athletes like that, see if we can up the ante and put up a much better performance, to put the same young people in the same positions that they were in this game, yet see them perform to the same level they perform in practice. It's not intramurals. We're not giving everybody a chance. These guys have been performing in practice. Some of them didn't get it done today, but I don't have doubt or faith in them. This team will be extremely good. Unfortunately, I want them to be good now.
Take a couple more. We're going to start back to Citrus.
Coach, on the note of Villari, back here. On the note of Villari, you used him practically as a Swiss Army knife today. Do you plan to do that going forward, or more of a traditional tight end role with him?
I think that he has a lot of football player in him. I think there's a lot of just throwback. He can throw, he can run, he can block, he can catch. And I just think the more that you use those skills, the better off the team is.
Last question for Coach with Emily.
Were there any calls in this game that you considered using a timeout and trying to get reviewed here? I know you had signaled that you thought that last recovery was a touchdown there at the end of the game.
Every call is being reviewed. And when you see me standing next to those officials, I'm like, are they reviewing the call? And the answer is either yes or no. It's never gray. And then based off of that, that's when I decide whether I'm going to use my timeout or not. Because if I use my timeout on a call that they're already reviewing and then they give me a double no, I lost a timeout for no reason. So if you really watch what goes on with those plays, and they'll say, Coach, we're reviewing it. I say, can I challenge that? Coach, we're reviewing it. Don't waste your time out. We're talking to each other. Okay? Thank you. You're welcome.